My final thing, Jordan. I watched this morning, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it completely caught me off guard. I was legitimately surprised by how much I liked the Brady Bunch movie.
It's 1995. The world we know has changed.
Put on your Sunday best, kids. We're going to Sears.
But the Bradys never will.
Out of sight.
With Mike.
If your sister would wear her glasses, she just might improve her eyesight.
Carol.
Honey, I think you've stirred that enough.
I'm not stirring. I'm looking for Katie Carryall's underpants.
Greg.
All right, this is a car, Jack.
Of course this is a car. But my name's not Jack, it's Greg.
Bobby and Cindy.
So why don't you hop back on the Swiss Miss package where you belong, huh?
Okay.
Peter.
Lunch looks pretty rank.
What'd you bring?
Pork chops and applesauce.
Jan.
Hi, everybody. It's the new Jan Brady.
Marcia.
Dinner's ready. Oh, my nose.
I'm sure no one will ever notice.
There will never be a teen model.
And Alice. The Brady Bunch Movie.
The Brady Bunch movie. Do you not know who the Brady Bunch are?
I mean, of course I do, but I've never seen this movie, so what reaction are you expecting to elicit from me? I know of them, but I've never seen their show, nor have I watched any of their movies. I just know that they're weirdly incestual.
Not really. But, okay.
I just know, that's the thing, that's the meme, that's the thing that everybody always pokes fun of, is the two siblings. I don't remember which two it is.
You're thinking of the Osmonds. That's who you're thinking of.
No, I'm thinking of the Brady Bunch because two of the siblings were dating off screen.
Oh, fair enough. I cannot confirm as to whether or not that's... But anyway.
Hold on. You keep talking and I'm going to give you the exact.
The connection to Spider-Man. You're probably like, what's the connection to Spider-Man, Justin, of the Brady Bunch? Question Jordan's asking. So in the movie, not in the original show, but in the movie, Greg Brady is played by Christopher Daniel Barnes, who is the voice of 90s Spider-Man and Spider-Man Noir, and I think... Oh, and Prince Eric as well.
Hey there, groovy chick.
Oh, great.
Get back here, Shocker! Shocker!
He's also Prince Eric.
This is what it is. The primary on-screen Brady Bunch pair who dated in real life were Barry Williams, Greg, and Maureen McCormick, Marcia. Alongside brief romantic pursuits between Christopher Knight, Peter, and Eve Plum, Jan.
That's weird.
And so, on-camera turn real life romances. So whenever the actors, the four actors were with the people that they were respectively into, apparently it came across like they would give each other the fuck me eyes.
That's weird.
That's not what it officially says, but that's essentially like it was the equivalent of like how it was weird in Life with Derek with Casey and Derek,
anyway,
because their real life actors were dating. And
anyway, the connection to Spider-Man is that, yes, Christopher Daniel Barnes, who plays Spider-Man in the 90s series, and Prince Eric in The Little Mermaid, and Spider-Noir in that one Spider-Man video game, is Greg Brady. And the wild part of this is he made this. This is quite a successful movie, and he made this while he was making Spider-Man. So, like, can you imagine going to watch the Brady? Because like, when I was watching this, I was thinking, like, no kid today would know who the Brady Bunch is. Certainly no youth today would know who the Brady Bunch is.
I barely know who they are.
Right? We're in our 30s and we barely know who they are. But in the 90s, they would have been contemporary. They would have been contemporary.
Like, the only reason anyone knows who they are, the only reason why I know who they are, is because things like Robot Chicken make fun of them.
But they would have been contemporary. So this movie came out in 1995, and they would have been contemporary in the way that Friends
70s, 80s.
The Brady Bunch came out in the 70s. This movie came out in 1995. So in the 90s, the Brady Bunch would be contemporary in the way that Friends is for us now. It would have been like, or like the 8 Simple Rules, a sitcom from the 90s, Frasier or Cheers. It would have been like that. So it's one of those things where people would have known about it, but not necessarily have watched it. But they would know who the Brady Bunch is. And this movie is clever because it takes the Brady Bunch, and they are very much still stuck in the 1970s, and they act as though they're on the 1970s sitcom still. And it's really weird because Greg Brady sounds like Spider-Man. It's very strange. It's very fucking weird. So they do all these jokes from like what that you would do on the 1970s sitcom, and like every Brady, every time they say their line, they pause for laughter. Every single line.
Funny.
It's so fucking funny. It's so, and like they act like they're like a conservative family from like the 1970s. So the plot of this, it's like the plot of this is like 5 different episode plots all kind of mashed into one. So like the main one is kind of that their house, the neighbor is played by Chuck from Better Call Saul. He wants to buy up all the real estate in the neighborhood, so he's trying to get Greg Brady's house, but Greg Brady is an architect who's built his house, so he doesn't want to sell. But in the meantime, he has received a bill for $20,000 to collect taxes, and if they don't get the $20,000 by the end of the week, their house will go up for auction. You know, typical plot of an episode of the show. And there's a really funny moment where he keeps trying to sell architecture, like buildings to customers, and all of his designs are like old fashioned from like the 1970s, and he eventually manages to sell one, and they think he saved the day. It's like, come on kids, let's go to Sears to celebrate.
Kids, you have nothing to worry about. Today your father sold a design and now he can get that $20,000 advance.
I appreciate what you all tried to do. And from now on, no more secrets. The important thing is we still have our home. So let's celebrate. Put on your Sunday best, kids. We're going to Sears.
All right!
I think I'll go for a walk outside now. The summer sun's calling my name. I hear you now, I just can't stay inside all day. I gotta get out, give me some of those rays.
And then the next scene is just a musical number in Sears. Like they're just we're going out today. They're just dancing around Sears. It's so funny. There's a bit where it's basically like
sounds like Kitty Kitty Bang Bang.
Kind of, yeah. There's this bit where they're like the whole bit is they're characters from the 1970s and they're trapped. They're now in the 1990s. So everyone around them is like
thinks
cynical,
they're weird.
Thinks they're weird. Yeah, that it's cynical and it's really funny because like their conservative attitudes are presented as being weird. So like there's a point where like one of the guys takes Mark, because the whole gag is Marsha's the hot one. Everyone loves her and Marsha is the one that Marsha's the hot one, and Jan is the unattractive one. That's the joke. And so there's this really funny running gag where Jan, and I don't know if it comes from the original show or not, but Jan has a voiceover where it's like she has psycho voices that are constantly telling her to do stuff to like, so she has like, she's constantly jealous of Marsha. So there's a point where she has like a dream of her like cutting off her hair like a psycho. But there's a point
sounds like totally sane behavior. What are you talking about?
There's a point where Marsha, she's into
totally stable.
The popular guy, and the popular guy tries to take her up to make out point and have sex with her. And she's like, whoa, he has her arm around her. He's like, whoa, man, we've gotten to second. We're on third base already. And he tries to hook up with her and she refuses to. And it's funny because like every character that's adjacent to the Bradys starts to act like a character from a 1970s sitcom. And it's really funny how they start to be like, jolly wee jillikers. And it's like the kind of, there's a really funny
They're
bit.
like a virus.
There's a funny bit where like it's like a father's knows best thing. So the husband's like, you just let me figure it out. And like he has all those. Oh, there's a part where the youngest daughter is trying to tell them something, and he's like, just so you know, when you snitch, you shouldn't tell other people when it's not your business. Because when you snitch on other people, you're really snitching on yourself.
Daddy, Mrs. Dittmeyer said that she'd be glad to wrap your package this Christmas.
Really? How is Mrs. Dittmeyer?
Mr. Dittmeyer says he's overhung, but he's not in a good mood because he's taking it in the rear.
Must be that paper boy again.
Cindy, that's Mr. Dittmeyer's business. Remember, nobody likes a snitch.
I'm not a snitch. I just tell it like it is.
You know, Cindy, when you tattle on someone, you're not just telling on them. You're telling on yourself. And by tattling on someone, you're really just telling them, I'm a tattletale. Now, is that the tale you want to tell?
I never thought of it like that.
And I'm like, wow, that's a conservative idea.
Snitches get stitches.
And there's a point at the end where he's doing like the end of episode like wrap up monologue or whatever, and the mom keeps going to talk, and he just keeps cutting her off. She keeps to open her mouth to say something. He's like, and he just keeps talking. Super.
And
funny.
then we
Super funny. And then it was the thing that was interesting is that was interesting to me was how people are constantly like, oh, this everything has to be woke stuff is new. It's a new phenomenon. And it's not. Like, this movie came out in 1995, and there's a joke where Greg Brady's like, oh, we're gonna go to history class, and she's like, I think you mean herstory. And the person who says, I think you mean herstory, is not the one that the joke is on in the scene. The joke is on, and there's a couple of points like that. Oh, I wish I could remember the other one, but there's another gag that's like that, where one of the characters is gay. No, that's not it. There's a particular gag where the joke is on the fact that they're conservative. Like the movie, it's so wild that we've hit this cultural point where people are like, oh, everything's woke and PC gone mad or whatever. But here's the Bradys and their presentation of the conservative nuclear family is presented as being weird. I just think that's so interesting. I'm like, that's so fascinating. But yeah, it was very. It's funny in a way that like
that has everything to do with who currently holds power in the United States.
Right. But it was funny, in like, you don't need to have. I've never seen an episode of the Brady Bunch in my life, but this made fun of the tropes. I guess I've grown up with enough 1970s sitcoms where I was like, this is funny. This is a culture clash that like this is still relevant. This is still making fun of things that are relevant, and it made me go like, if you could take any sitcom from 20 years ago and do a movie like this, where it takes place in 2026, but they're stuck in the 90s, what would you do? I keep going back to Friends, but that show is kind of timeless. I don't know if that show's stuck in the 90s quite in the way that like the Bradys are stuck in the 70s.
The first one that comes to mind for me is Your Favorite Martian.
Interesting, but that's Your Favorite Martian, or you mean My Favorite Martian? Your Favorite Martian is
yeah.
Man. That I suppose, but that's a sitcom from the 1950s.
I know, it's the first old timey one.
I can think of lots of 1960s sitcoms that you could totally do that with, but I'm trying to think of like if we shifted
one from the 90s specifically.
What is a sitcom that's like trapped in the 90s?
I mean,
in terms of its attitudes,
one of the ones. I don't. To be fair, I didn't watch a lot of sitcoms in the 90s. I was a kid.
Yeah, sure. Watched a lot of 2000 sitcoms.
2000 sitcoms. I mean, I guess you could do Malcolm in the Middle.
I suppose you could.
But they did that.
Yeah, I guess you could do How I Met Your Mother.
But they've done that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we've already. Yeah, I guess there's no space in the world for
Arrested
like
Development,
this.
maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But
The Office. But that's kind of timeless, I guess.
Timeless as well. But yeah,
but
I
suppose like the way that you modernize that one is like they're a paper selling company. What would the modern day version of that be?
I suppose, yeah. You would also this is another one you would like. It's funny you're like, I've never seen an episode of the Brady Bunch, but it does such a good job of you understand the tropes of she's the hot older sister. That was the other bit that I meant to tell you. I was gonna send you a video of this and I didn't. You were called Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
There's a point where where Greg Brady, Spider-Man, goes to sell a song to an artist because he plays the guitar. There's 2 musical numbers in this and they're both really funny. But there's a point where he goes to sell a song to a record producer, and he says, "What's your name?" He goes, "My name is Johnny Bravo."
The reference?
And well, the cartoon came after. So, as near as I can tell, the cartoon is not specifically named after the Brady Bunch, because the Johnny Bravo comes from an episode of the Brady Bunch where Greg Brady becomes a musician. And apparently I watched a TikTok on this, or a YouTube short, and apparently that reference is a reference to a band that was contemporary at the time. So the name from the cartoon might have come from that band, or it could be a Brady Bunch reference. I couldn't find any correlating information to suggest one way or the other that it was. But he went, "I'm Johnny Bravo," and I went, "You don't look like Johnny Bravo. Where's your muscles? You don't got any muscles.
You don't got any muscles."
Like, it just made me laugh because it was like, can you imagine some guy who puts on Spider-Man? Like, why does Spider-Man sound like Greg Brady? But also, probably, he did Little Mermaid.
That was probably one of my dad probably that was his experience because I think he grew up with Brady Bunch.
Yeah,
so
but
when he watched me
he's not the
watching
original
this,
Greg Brady. He only did it for the movie.
Oh, then never mind then.
Yeah, at the end they show up and they're like, "Grandma," and the grandma is the original mom. That was pretty funny.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty fun reference. But I wonder, I do wonder if like people watched Spider-Man and went, "Why does Spider-Man sound like Prince Eric?" Because he did Prince Eric in 1989. He did it before Spider-Man, well before Spider-Man. I often
could be.
But yeah, I was. This was a legit play. I want to watch the sequel. There's at least one more story. There's 2 sequels, but there's at least one direct sequel called A Very Brady Sequel. I want to watch it. I really enjoyed this. This was really funny. Like this was an enjoyable experience.
Would you go back and watch the original show?
Just to see. I know this is Wikipedia described this as loosely based on the show. The thing about it is like. And part of what makes the movie kind of funny is it presents the notion of a mixed family as being abnormal. So you know what the premise of the Brady Bunch is?
Isn't it basically like with Derek, but like from the 70s, where it's
more or less, yeah. It's about
divorced
a mixed family,
mom, divorced mom, divorced dad. They come together, and the kids have to learn how to live together. Which
they
is
apparently,
why
because it's the 19th
weird step family insinuation.
No, apparently because it's the 1970s and this is a conservative show. They never say that she's divorced or what happened to the husband. I don't know if they say what happened to his wife, but they never say. Apparently in one of the spin-offs, there's some loose reference to her being divorced, but they never actually say it on the show. And what was the other thing you said?
The kids giving each other the weird fuck me eyes.
Apparently on the show they don't call each other step family. Apparently, the dad Brady said that the only step in this family is a step ladder. So they are family. They're not a step family. That is because it's the 1970s and marriage is a big deal back then.
Sure. Okay.
Whatever. But I mean, like the notion.
We all know the truth,
right? To me, it's just like this premise is presenting the idea of 2 families marrying into each other as weird, but as I for reasons that if you know, you know, not really all that weird for me. So
well, I mean, nowadays it's fairly common.
It's a fairly normal thing, yeah. So I'm like, the premise, I just don't see how it's really gonna be all that funny. But anyway, that is my last thing in the Spider-Verse. That is the Brady Bunch movie. That is the weirdest entry in the Spider-Verse. Is it the weirdest entry? Jordan, before we move on to your last thing, what was the weirdest entry into the Spider-Verse for mine?
Probably this. I struggled to think of something weirder.
I mean, what about the Dr. Parnassus?
Oh, I already immediately forgot about that.
Hey there everybody, it's N-Card Justin here. Let me know, have you seen the Brady Bunch movie? Do you love this movie? Is this movie an absolute classic? Because I'm not going to lie to you, it completely caught me off guard. But in the meantime, if you'd like to see the full podcast that this is from, That Guy Sure Sounds Like He Was Spider-Man, you can click the box on the left. Or if you just want to see a random video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy, click the box on the right. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. We put new videos out 7 days a week. Or you can just leave this video a like. That helps us out too. We'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day, everybody.